Hello everyone, welcome to the new class of chemistry. The previous class we discussed about a small topic about how the discovery of various structures occurred. Dalton's atomic theory was mentioned earlier. Also the charge to mass ratio, electrons charge, as well as the discovery of positive and neutral charge was mentioned earlier, was studied earlier. Today's class we will discuss some famous atomic models that were studied or that were used for the discovery as well as for the study of different concepts of the subatomic particles, because you see atoms were discovered very earlier, but later we came to know that these atoms also have some smaller particles which we see as subatomic particles. These subatomic particles we had studied, they were neutron, electron, proton, and neutron. So in order to maintain a model of atom, how an atom would look like, or what could be the structure of an atom, in order to study that, there were several scientists who proposed various models, and two of them are very famous, which we had studied in our or we had understood in our previous earlier smaller classes. We will study it in some more detail in this class. The very first model, which is actually we have been studying from the smaller class, is the Thomson's atomic model. Okay, Thomson's atomic model, actually it was proposed by J.J. Thomson in the very 18th century, in the 19th century, near about 1898 it was proposed. He proposed that an atom is just like a small structure, small sphere-shaped structure, where this outer surface, where this outer sphere is actually nothing but a positive sphere, positive quantity, and the inner molecules or the inner structure which are present, they are actually negative charged particle. And he mentioned very clearly that this in the inner particles or the electrons which are present here are uniformly distributed in the way that the complete structure of this model which he proposed could be neutral. Means he tried to mention there that the number of electrons in this structure will be totally equal to the positive sphere's mass or the positive sphere's quantity. It will be totally equal. That's what he tried to mention in that from his model. Further discussing, his model was named by different names: plum pudding model, raisin pudding model, watermelon model. It's because the fact that the outside structure which we see here, this outside structure looked like a plum's outside surface or raisins outside surface or a watermelon's outside surface, and the inner structure which we see here, they looked like the seeds in the watermelon or the pudding in the plum or the seeds in the raisins. That's how it looked like. So for because of that, this model was named as plum pudding model or raisin pudding model or watermelon model. Okay. An important feature that he tried to mention in this model was the mass of the atom of this particular model, which he assumed is actually uniformly distributed over the atom. I just told you a few minutes ago, the charge, in order to make the complete charge of this atom, the proposed structure that he proposed, the complete structure, in order to propose that, what he did, he proposed or he mentioned that the positive sphere will be having a charge which is very much equal to the total number of electrons charge present in that structure. Okay, so that was uniformly distributed also. But the problem in this structure was that it could explain the overall neutrality, but it couldn't maintain its consistency, because in some experiments the neutrality of the atom, the neutral charge of the atom was not completely satisfied. Atom is completely neutral charge, we know that, right? Atom is completely neutral in charge. How? Because nowadays what we study is the number of electrons that that a particular atom have is actually very much equal to the number of protons or the positive charge present in the atom. That's what an atom is mentioned as a neutral charge, as of neutral charge. But his experiments, the later experiments done on this structure, this type of model, was actually a failure. So the neutrality of the atom was not confirmed by this model. Later a model was introduced by famous scientist Rutherford, some of his students, and Rutherford did an experiment which is known as the alpha particle scattering experiment. What he did, he used an alpha particle source. He put a screen, he put a screen, and there was a small plate like structure so that this particle could go through it. And in front of the screen he put a small gold foil, so that whenever the particle just collides with this, whenever the particle collides with this gold foil, there will be a small dot like structure, formed over this particular plate. And it could be seen because of there was a zinc sulfide coating which was all over this particular inner surface. All over the inner surface there was zinc sulfide coating. Okay, so the Rutherford's experiment actually had some specific observations, right? He saw some view that what he saw was many of the particles. This line is actually the alpha particle, the line which is seen here. Many of the lines were going straight ahead. That's what he saw at first. Second, what he saw, some of the lines have a small deflection. Some, very few of the lines have a small deflection, like this. It has small deflections. Okay. And the third and the most important thing that he saw was, it was an approximation that he made. If there was suppose 20,000 alpha particles, the line which we saw, approximately means at least in the 20,000 alpha particles, at least one particle was there, alpha particle was there which would bounce back at an 180-degree angle. Means the alpha particle, if this bounces on this particular gold foil, it will go straight but will bounce back and will come back straight to that particular source. Means out of the 20,000 alpha particles, he saw one particle which is actually bouncing so much straight into the alpha particle, straight into the source directly. Okay, so that was what he observed. So on the basis of this observed, he made some conclusions which is not much important, but what he proposed, the model that he proposed, that is actually, it is important. Conclusions you can write by yourself. What is important is actually the model. This model is actually also known by the name nuclear model of atom. This model is also known by the name nuclear model of atom. Okay, so this nuclear model of atom, according to this model, he proposed something. First thing that he said is the positive charge is completely concentrated in a small region in the center of the atom. Also, the mass of the atom is also completely concentrated in this small region. How could he say so? Because we said many of the atoms were going for to and forth, but there was only one particle. Which goes straight and bounced back again. So this bounce back made him understood one thing, that there was something in the between of that particular atomic structure. and he said that the positive charge means alpha particle was considered as a positive charge. So the positive charge and also the mass of the atom is completely concentrated in the small region, which Rutherford said as nucleus. Rutherford mentioned it by the name nucleus. Second thing that he got from that particular model, the nucleus is actually surrounded by electron. Whatever the nucleus had, suppose we have a nucleus here, this is actually our atomic structure. The nucleus is completely surrounded by electrons. Nucleus is completely surrounded by electron. Nucleus is completely surrounded by electron. Okay, and this electron will move through this small structure, this particular path. It will revolve around the path. This path actually is known by the name orbit. Just like the planets in the solar system revolve around the sun, if we are considering this, if we are considering this as the sun, and if we are considering them if we are considering them as the planets, it is just like a solar system model also. So it was also known as the solar system model. Nuclear model, solar system model, both names are mentioned here. So it is actually a methodology where the planets or the electrons moved around the nucleus in a circular path, which was actually known by the name orbit. Okay, so his model also got the name solar system model, atomic model of solar system. This was also known. Okay, third and the most important thing that he depicted or said about the particular structure of atom is electrons and the nucleus which are present. We will have nucleus, and for an orbital path we will also have the electrons. These electrons and nucleus will have an electrostatic force of attraction. They will definitely have an electrostatic force of attraction, and this electrostatic force of attraction maintains the stability of the atom. If the atom is stable, it is because of this electrostatic force of attraction. In solar system, we have a particular force which maintains the planet to move around the sun. Which is that force? It is the gravitational force, right? Similarly, electrons and the nucleus will have a small force of attraction between them, and that force of attraction is known by the name electrostatic force of attraction, and this electrostatic force of attraction maintains the stability of that atom. That is what is mentioned about the atoms model by the Rutherford. Okay, so that's all about the class. The notes of this class have been given as PDF. Complete the notes, complete it as it is given. If you have any doubts regarding the notes, regarding the concepts, regarding anything, if there are any alterations or improvisations to be done in this topics or the methodology of teaching, please mention in the comment box of this video. Okay, thank you, have a nice day.